Welcome to episode 58, and we're continuing our discussion of the third section of Siu Nim Tau form. Last time we looked at the Pak Sau, followed by the Wang Jiao, the horizontal palm. Now we look at the next sequence, which in our family, we actually repeat some of the movements twice. In most families, you'll see one or the other. Prior to about 1953-54, Grandmaster Yip Man, when teaching Siu Nim Tau, taught a Taan Sau, a Jam Sau, a Taan Sau, Huen Sau, Jeung, hitting the body before coming back to shoulder level and retracting. When Wong Sen Leung, my Sifu, had a fight in his Beimo days where an opponent did something a little bit unusual and dropped down with a punch, at that time, because they'd all been taught only this Jam Sau application, Sifu Wong Sen Leung tried the Jam Sau and the punch was able to still penetrate and strike him. On a discussion with Yip Man after the event, he did beat the opponent, by the way, so he still won the match, but he suffered an injury that was quite annoying, so he discussed it with Yip Man, and Yip Man explained, you could have used Gaan Sau. And they all looked at him and said, well, what is a Gaan Sau? Because they hadn't seen it before. So in our family, when everybody else from that point onwards decided to change from the Jam Sau action to a Gaan Sau action, Wong Sen Leung was clever enough to realize the importance of both of those hands. So in our family, we retain the Jam Sau action. We come back to a smaller version of Taan. We circle and we strike, and then we come back. And when we've done that on both sides, we then come out again and repeat that action, but we come down with the Gaan Sau that most families have. So if you're watching video of certain Wing Chun lineages, if you only see the Gaan Sau action, you can be pretty sure that that person's lineage was probably from the early period of Yip Man in Hong Kong, around 1950 to 53. If you see the Gaan Sau action from about 1954 onwards. But if you only see the Jam Sau action, then that lineage is probably students who learned up to about 1953, and then the change was made. But the Wong Sen Leung lineage has both Jam Sau and later, when we repeat the movement, Gaan Sau. Now that's the history behind it. Now we'll look at the details. Why do we do this Taan Sau action? Basically, it's to represent the idea of being able to locate the attacking hand. If you just bring the Taan Sau up, then that doesn't take into account the fact that when your opponent is throwing a round attack at you, if he's throwing it round and you come up, chances are he'll already have penetrated your defense before you get there. But if the Taan Sau goes forward and drops in on the attacking hand, it has a much greater chance of shutting it down. So we're literally looking at this from the anatomical viewpoint that I don't know exactly where the fist is going. It could be anywhere from a low attack to a mid attack to a high attack. I don't know where that's going, only he knows. But I do know that it's coming from the shoulder. Literally, it's coming from his brain. His thought process is telling him to do it. And anatomically, it's coming from his backbone because that's where the movement originates. But visibly, I know that it's connecting his arm to his body at the shoulder, so I need to be aware of the shoulder height. So that's why we bring it up and forward. I'm literally getting up as high as his shoulder and then firing it forward. So it's quite literally like the arc of a projectile. I can't shoot straight. If I go straight, he'll get in. But if I go up and forward, I can suppress that action. Now, as I said, this part of the form is a bit more complicated, so we'll stop at that point and continue on the next one. See you then.